Welcome, guys, to the first episode of Clawcast After the Whistle.
So my name is Nicholas Tarian. I play hockey here for the M1 Griffins, but we're united with not Bishop Foley, Berkeley, Royal Oak, and Ferndale. We're looking to do some in the States here, and I also play baseball here, right here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm Trent Steffen. I play varsity basketball and varsity baseball for Clawson. Looking to make a run in the States this year for baseball, maybe win a district championship. Yep.
That's what we like to hear. A little upset to Bishop Foley, eh?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so...
All right, first topic, man. We're going to talk about Clawson just coming off, football team just coming off a huge win
just
against
after
New Haven.
that New Haven win, huge. They're missing their starters.
Right,
everyone was talking down.
Hunter Garrison out
great
with
running
an injury.
back. It's a great back.
Jordan Davenport, he had a thumb injury, man.
Thumb injury. He's a wide receiver. What can he do?
Yeah,
what is he strong? He's a strong safety too. Just an absolute lethal weapon out there for the Trojans team. Absolutely stopping that. Like when it's in the air, just stopping the air ball, man.
Yeah, the boys came out with a huge 48-6 win, secure our co-champs. We're co-champions with the Clintondale Dragons right now, but
and Hazel Park.
No, Hazel Park. I think they might be out of it.
No, they're not out of it because they beat
three-way. You're right.
Three-way tie. It's a three-way tie.
So there's a three-way tie in the MAC Bronze League Championship,
and that's back to back. If I should say that again,
back to back
league champs. Absolute buzz time for the football team.
Now we're recording this on Thursday, October 17th. Actually, correct myself.
There you go, buddy.
We have a homecoming football game tomorrow against the 0-6 East Point Shamrocks. Now, let me give you a quick stat about these Shamrocks.
Let me hear about it.
They haven't scored a touchdown all year, Noodle.
They haven't.
They have 300-plus points scored against them.
Okay, but if you think about it, if you're coming into this game, if I'm one of the players on this Clawson Trojans football team, which I'm not, but if I'm one of those players, you can't come into the game going, they haven't scored a point all year. You can't come into that because you gotta beat them. You gotta go in there because they need to make it to this playoff odds.
Right. Look, speaking of playoff odds, so right now we're sitting. Your Trojans are sitting at 5-2 on the year.
Absolute good record.
2 games left. Our losses, some key losses, was a 20-point loss to Hazel Park, and then an early 30-point loss to Centerline. But Centerline is a league above us.
It shouldn't hurt us too much. Hazel Park is in our league, but Hazel Park, absolute good football game there.
Right, but then we pulled off some huge wins against Perry, Clintondale, and Madison. Those are going to help our playoff odds immensely.
That Clintondale win, were you there?
Oh, that was a beautiful game.
That was just absolute. Boys came out firing on all cylinders.
Cylinders.
They were buzzing.
It was a bloodbath, I'll tell you that now.
There was some bodies getting thrown around there, but it's okay.
Right. So I'm checking, you look around social media and stuff like that. You're going to see all like the playoff projections right now.
I know, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I was looking around. I went to a few websites, right? And I see they have us out of the playoffs as of right now. They have us projected to beat East Point tomorrow for our homecoming game. Mm-hmm. But then our week 9 matchup at Royal Oak.
Be there. We need to be loud there. Yeah. Got to support the boys.
That's going to be a huge game for us, for our playoff odds especially, because in every big playoff projection that I've seen, it has us out of the playoffs if we lose to Royal Oak. But that's a huge to leave a 6-3 team out. But then they have Clintondale, who we have beaten prior.
That's what I'm saying. But also the worst part is they're 6-3, but Royal Oaks, the Division 1, what do you do? Division 6? I don't know how they can leave us out,
If we beat a Division 1 team, our playoff points, they just need to go through the roof at that point. I think we're sitting at 32 POP right now, playoff points. Oh. When we beat East Point, I think East Point, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're Division 4, Division 5 football-wise. So if we win,
I think they are too.
If we win, I think that'll boost us to maybe like the 36, 37 range. But as a D6 school beating a D1 school,
that's unreal.
I think even if we lose to them, there's no way.
It's still a close game. Right. I feel like it should still shoot up some playoff points.
Yeah, if we lose to Royal Oak, we're gonna be the first team out of the playoffs, D6. In our projected playoff bracket right now, we are in a region with Almont, who's undefeated, best team D6.
Very good team right over there.
Michigan Collegiate, who's second team in D6. Marine City, fourth best team D6. Then they have Clintondale in that region, and then in that district. Then District 2 of that same region.
Okay, but like, how are they going to leave us out head-to-head wise there? You know what I mean?
Well, so this is what I'm thinking. I was looking at Clintondale's schedule. They have Marysville this upcoming week tomorrow.
That's a good.
Then they play Sterling Heights. Sterling Heights has not won a game this year.
That is not a solid football team.
No, absolutely not. So I'm thinking if they're gonna, my opinion, they're gonna drop to Marysville tomorrow.
You think so?
I think they drop to Marysville. Marysville's one of the best teams in the MAC Gold. Mm-hmm. I don't have the Dragons winning tomorrow.
You don't have the Dragons pulling off?
But I think Sterling Heights is in probably, I think they're D5, D4. If they beat Sterling Heights by enough, I think
they're going to be in the playoffs there because that's just going to shoot up their POPs there.
It's really what comes down to that selection. It's going to come down to that selection Sunday, man. It's whatever the state decides.
You used to play football. That's
right.
like,
it's a huge deal to make it because it's unlike any other sport. Only a few teams make it in each division.
Yeah, that's like I never went through that, because I always just played the sports. You always got in there. You gotta just play through it. But like that just seems like a hard battle to get through. Gotta have a winning record one. Just absolutely, it sounds like a battle.
Right. I think the boys are playing pretty good leading up to these matchups. I mean, tomorrow we're gonna be returning some starters that were not playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last week against
some good starters
like
over
we
there.
mentioned earlier. But I mean, another thing that can't be overlooked is the quarterback play out of our sophomore quarterback, Elliot.
As a sophomore to come into the varsity starting job after just being on JV last year, Jude McCullough.
Projected starter, but then he had a back injury.
You can't do
really
it.
gave an opportunity for Elliot to go.
Yeah, and then you can't take Mr. Elliot Groves out of the game there out of the offensive scheme when they're winning.
Right. I mean, they win that week 1 match. Elliot plays a beautiful game.
Yeah.
Rough week 2. But after that, they go on a little winning streak,
man. They're going. I mean, the Hazel Park game, everyone has their ups and downs. It's a little down game. That's a down week. But
that is a down week, but
they came back and bounced back to beat Clintondale.
We're on a winning streak right now, man. And how are you going to take the starting spot away from a man who just got you a co-league championship?
That's what I'm saying. You can't take it away.
As a sophomore, crazy.
Jude McCullough can absolutely... He could throw the ball.
Right.
And he's not a bad quarterback.
But I'll give it to Elliott because what he's been able to do on his feet. He's averaging over 100 rushing yards a game, ladies and gentlemen.
That is absolutely. That's a lot. That's a lot for a QB.
He's gotten more rushing yards than some of our running backs per se in some of these games.
I mean, honestly, yeah, but we are run heavy. And we do have those QB options in there, and
right.
I mean, when he gets that ball in his hand, something special usually happens. It's it's an absolute fun games to watch when he has the ball in his hand.
Yeah. Now we want to make a few shout outs though from last game. A few first time touchdowns. Freshman Joey Campana, wide receiver.
First
touchdown of his high school career.
Boy, that's a shout out.
Number 10, junior Griffin White with his first touchdown on the year. And then number 14, Nate Heath with his first touchdown of the year.
I mean, just think about that. That's nerve-wracking. You're coming in, you're the backup guy. You're coming in, and then at the beginning of the week, now you're told you're starting. You're getting more reps in there. It's nervous. You're getting these reps. But I like to see that our team, even like after not being starters, maybe they're a little sad about not being a starter. They come into that game, they show up.
Right.
Yeah, they had to prove something. They proved it, man.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
As a freshman, Joey Campana, he started out the season as the starting quarterback for our JV football team. And for him to come, he gets called up. We had an injury to one of our star corners, Stephen Chapman. And for Joey to get brought up and to just mesh with that defense and that offense.
I know, just to come in there.
Clicks like
just
that.
Automatic. Yeah, dude, you can see him. He doesn't look lost out there.
Right.
He makes his plays, and
It's got to be a huge confidence booster too. That touchdown. I mean, New Haven's not a bad squad, man.
New Haven wasn't. They're not awful, but they're not like they weren't Clintondale. But
we do have some bad news for the Trojans, though. One of our free safeties, probably 2 weeks ago, Jace Meeks,
was an absolute heartbreak.
Suffered,
I think.
What
he broke it. He broke his tibia.
Broke his tibia.
Or he broke the smaller bone in his shin, snapped that one, but then he fractured his fibia, Or it could be the other way around. I'm not up to date with my
Yep.
with my terms there, but it's an absolute heartbreak.
He's out for the year, and we go to school here at Clawson. We see him scooting around, man. It's just heartbreaking.
It is.
He's just itching to be out there,
Yeah.
especially if
He
the
was
boys make the playoffs.
He's playing so good.
He was
there.
leading the team in interceptions. He had the game-sealing interception against Clintondale. He had 2 interceptions against Madison, man. I mean, it's huge.
I mean, it's a huge loss, but I don't forget who's his backup. I think Nate Heath is his backup.
But Nate Heath has come back, and Nate Heath's been balling out, man.
He has been absolutely. He's been cracking kids off kickoff.
Clintondale game, man. He had some huge hits on those Dragons.
He's making plays he's making plays.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to say it's incompetent that free safety spot. He's
right.
He's going to come in there and he's going to do what he needs to do.
Absolutely. Jace had a good backup behind him. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Now, another thing we'd like to talk about our seniors, Jacob McCallum, Royce Spielbush, Joseph Dale, and then our kicker, Seth Colbert. Man.
And don't forget about my boy Logan. New transfer.
New transfer student, yep. But we're hoping Jacob and Roy as captains, man.
Been there playing varsity for a while.
They've been playing varsity all 4 years. Last season of your high school career.
You want to make a run.
You want to make a run in this. I mean, I would like to say that in Division 6 we have the hardest region of all Division 6. Like
I would have to agree.
You move out west and you got Lumen Christi and like all teams like that. But when you have 3 of the top 5 teams in your projected district,
that's hard.
That's crazy,
like,
man.
Alma, great team that made it all the way to the state finals last year.
Michigan Collegiate, we dropped to them 60-0 last year, first round of district.
Yeah, it's all about the bounce back.
Marine City, we played them. I want to say week 3, week 2 last year 60-0
yeah,
loss. These are some powerhouse.
Those are some good.
Powerhouses.
Those are some good powerhouse schools. They're good football teams. They're good football schools. But I'm not gonna doubt our boys if they do have to play them. I feel like they're gonna play it to their best ability.
Absolutely.
And even if they lose, we can't talk down on them. Because those are great schools to lose.
Right.
Great schools.
And Jacob and Roy, they've been leading even since they were sophomores, man. Being on the squad last year as a junior, man, they upbring the team, man. Like they just bring emotion and a culture to the team that hasn't been brought to that team in a while.
They do have that. And those key sacks and
Jacob's tied the school record last year in sacks with 10.5 sacks.
That's just
an absolute. I don't
know
where he's at this year, but man,
I think he's fallen a little bit. But I think he's projected out there to get up there again. But
right.
Just Royce Spielbush, he's center. I mean, absolute the blocking that kid does, it's just unreal. It's like he doesn't let
keystone. He's the keystone to that offense.
And it's like he doesn't let anyone through there. I mean, like Royce Spielbush, like props to him. Jacob McCallum also does not let a lot of people through that O-line there. Yeah, but that D-line work, by both of them actually, they're both just fantastic D-linemen. And I don't know how they can't make a good run there with those guys being like they're, those leaders.
Right.
There.
All right. Our next topic, we're going to be talking about girls volleyball team, man.
Just fire up the volleyball team. After falling down 2 sets, and if you don't know volleyball, it's best out of 5, so first to 3 sets. And after falling 2 sets, I mean, they just come back. They don't show that. They just don't. They don't back down to a challenge.
Win 3 straight. That's huge.
They win 3 straight. I mean, absolute just key.
I mean, and especially after coming off a loss to that New Haven before 2-3. I mean, that's a close, hard-fought match, and then being able to they lost 2-3. Being able to reverse sweep in front of the home fans, that's huge.
I mean, just to bring a show to the home fans. I mean, like one of my old hockey coaches would say, it's hard to beat a team twice. And maybe that New Haven team, maybe they got a little confident towards the end. They thought they were just gonna walk all over our team, and our team just didn't back down to that fight.
Tonight, 6:30, they got an away game against Warren Mott. Haven't played them previously. Oh, they did play them previously this year. It was a home match. We lost 1-3, but I believe in our girls. I think they bounce back tonight.
I think they do have a good bounce back. I mean, they do have to go and play in front of that opposing section
Warren
there.
Mott,
but
it's not a pretty hard place to play.
I mean,
they're going to come out with a squad, but I believe.
I feel like they're a bigger school than us. We're playing big schools, and I like to see that we're not going to back down. I hope that our
like you said, hard to beat a team twice.
It's hard to beat a team twice. They're going to be a little confident going into that game, and I feel like they could for sure just beat the Warren Mott.
Right, and then next Monday, 6:30, senior night for our girls against Hazel Park, home game. That's a league matchup, guys.
That is a league matchup. They're still
huge
seeking.
matchup.
They're still seeking their first league win.
Yep, we are 0-3 right now, but this
But-
win against Hazel Park would secure our first league win. So everyone needs to show up, be loud.
Yeah, get loud especially for your seniors. That's like one of their last games there.
Right. We lost a hard fought match, the 26th of September against Hazel Park. That was another 2-3 loss. But I mean, we've said it multiple times. Hard to beat a team twice, especially. I mean that place, Clausen Gym, it's gonna be jumping, man.
I mean, got to get excited for those seniors. You know, it's just they're showing out for you. They're playing every day.
Right.
They're showing out. They're trying to make it better. You know, make it good for the team. They're trying to win us some districts here for the school. But nothing else you can do.
Yeah. And then after that, they round off their season with Our Lady of the Lakes.
Ooh, that's a matchup.
And then they play Hazel Park again, and then they round it all out with Bishop Foley, which is a home game, ladies and gentlemen, October 29th, a little bit from now, but not too far away to put it in your calendar. We all need to show up, be loud. It's a rivalry game.
That is Bishop Foley. I mean, no one really likes him over here in Clausen.
Oh no.
Like that, they like to talk a lot to us, but we're
Right.
gonna show us some sportsmanship. Everyone's gonna be don't be mean to the players. You gotta support your team. Just support them and see what happens after that.
Absolutely. No, another shout out we want to make. Boys soccer, rounded their season out, I think a week and a half ago. But boys soccer, the improvements that team has made over just the past year is fantastic.
And I mean, they moved down a division.
Right.
It's a little demoralizing. You're moving down a division, but sometimes
you're still in the MAC Blue.
Exactly. You're still in the MAC Blue. That's a big division to be in for such a small team. It's
This year, your boys' varsity team came four wins, 7 losses, 7 ties, which you look at that, you're like, I mean, what are you talking about? How is that much of an improvement? Well, if you look at previously, our record was 2 wins, 18 losses.
I mean, the 7 ties, so you're thinking 7 ties is like a lot, but like, it's like soccer, especially
against some of these teams, you got to take that as a win.
You got to take that as a win, and you got to just take it like you're not letting them score. Maybe you're not scoring, but you're not letting them up. And then just a freshman goalkeeper.
Zach Campbell, freshman.
Shout out, he's an absolute stud back there. He's gonna be really good when he's older.
Absolutely.
Let him develop a little bit more. Absolute stud. I mean, just the people up front there, just are defenders. A bunch of seniors right there. Alex. Cole plays like center field, and Emmett Rice. I mean, just absolute lockdown, like the ability to just, keep them out there. Don't let them get good scoring chances.
Right.
Especially against those good teams. I mean, that's what you need. You need good defense, and Cole just to come back and support them.
Here's a stat for you.
Yeah.
In their last 10 games, they had 2 losses. One was a loss. This was excluding the district game against Luther North. Their
solid
one
team
loss
over there.
was a
one in the state.
1-0 loss to Lance Cruz.
Solid. That's
and then
a solid school.
5-1 loss to Warrenwoods Tower, which wasn't the best showing for the boys. But prior to that, we got hot.
We did.
In September 11th, we tied Lakeshore. Next day, the boys bounced back. We beat Southfield Christian 3-0. And then the next week, Monday, they beat Port Huron 4-0.
That's a big win.
I mean, there was a Saturday in there. They had to go to Bishop Foley early morning on a Saturday. They come up huge in PKs, win that game. We play Port Huron later on in the season. The 2nd of October, beat them 4-2.
But I don't think they play PKs in the regular season. I think they scored last minute. I heard someone scored last minute. They don't play PKs regular season.
No, you're right.
So I think they scored last minute, and that's just
I'm talking
absolute
Oliver
thing.
Buckler had a huge penalty kick
That's what you're
early
thinking.
in that game.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
Put him up 1-0.
Absolute stud over there, Oliver Buckley.
We're tying teams. We're tying some big OAA teams. I mean, Ferndale, their goalie's a Division II commit to Tiffin. We're tied Pontiac. I mean, you hear Pontiac, you're like, it's not really a soccer school. But then, I mean, we lost to Warrenwoods Tower early on in the season, 5-1, as I mentioned. But last game of the year, we tied them. We ended up tying them at City Park for senior night, 0-0. And then obviously, I mean, that was a heartbreaking loss for the boys against Lutheran North.
Yeah, I was at that Lutheran North game, and
18th ranked team in the state. What do you really expect going into it?
I mean, what you really expect there is just try and show out. Try and keep
they're a top 300 team nationally.
That's what I'm saying. You got to keep them keep their good players from scoring, but they're just good. They weren't like to do anything. Their defense, goalkeeper was solid, but.
Right.
Their defense was absolutely unreal. They couldn't get anything started offensively because they're like that. That Lutheran North team that defense didn't let our team start. Like they didn't let us go.
And for years to come too, there's some key losses. Obviously, you're gonna lose Cole Wyckoff. You're gonna lose Emmett Rice.
You're gonna lose Alex Pollock. Both senior captains over there.
You're gonna lose your senior captains, but you still got some. Like this year, next year we're gonna have seniors, Brady Gomez, Oliver Buckler.
Solid. Just all those two are solid players.
Having those guys in your front line,
they're goal scorers, man. That's going to be a goal scorer.
You have new additions to the team this year, Logan Folks, Ezra Locke, but
they're just going to keep getting better.
Towards the end of the year, he was putting on a show. He's playing that midfield spot, but I've never seen someone that's jittery and full of energy as Ezra Locke.
Yeah,
he just plays.
Just
out
a bunch
there.
of he's a fast kid. He makes those plays, but I like to just give shout outs to the freshmen that had to step up.
Right.
And they just came into the game. They didn't they didn't back down. They just played. I mean, they just come into the game. Everyone's gonna keep getting better. We're a pretty young team, and that's good for the future.
Right.
I mean, maybe present's a little bad, but we're a young team, and
right.
I feel like that's gonna help us out in the long run there.
I mean, it wouldn't be foolish to say they have a real good chance at a winning record next year, truly.
Honestly, I don't think it could be foolish, but it could be because they're still pretty young next year.
Right, but you're so goalkeeper Zach Campbell, right?
I mean, he's going to keep getting better over the summer, over this offseason, you know.
The defensive line, I mean, you got key guys, Owen Wingas, and he had a few goals this year.
Pretty solid play over there.
You got, like we mentioned earlier, you got returners like Brady Gomez, Oliver Buckler, Ezra Locke, Logan Folks.
I mean, all these returners,
Bailey,
this offseason is going to be so good for them.
Absolutely. I mean, the culture that Katie Meeks has brought to that team is just unmatched. And then you got, Kyle Goujon coming back to his alma mater to help be an assistant coach.
Great guy over there, Kyle Goujon.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is pretty big.
Because he played on those district championship teams, so he knows what it takes to really win a district.
Yeah, he played in a bunch of maybe not an all-state guy, but he's a role filler, and you can't win.
Huge glue guy.
You can't beat teams just off your all-state players. You need those fillers. You need those guys to just buzz. Maybe he was all-state second team. Maybe he was up there, but he did what he needed to do, and he supported that team out there.
Right.
And then
also like to shout out boys tennis. Heard they had a pretty good year. Ended probably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think they lost in districts, but in tennis you go to regionals even if you lose.
Yes.
And they came into regionals. They came in second, I think that's what it was. Or they lost second round to a very good team, and they came through. They didn't back down, and it's heartbreaking loss for everyone. But at least they beat the first team. They made it past round one, and they tried to show out.
And that's a young team too. I mean, one of your star players from Clawson, obviously being Sean Mason, he'll give you a good match every time. But we did have some newcomers: Aaron Gunnell, Nate Shepard, guys like that.
They're all young, and they're gonna keep getting better. Like I'm gonna say over and over again, off season work is important, and you need it to just have a good team to play.
Yep. All right. I think this.
All right, so to round out this fall sports, talk about all these fall sports, and we're gonna start talking about this girls golf.
Girls golf, man.
Two athletes of the week.
Two athletes of the week. First one, Jocelyn Ramirez. Shout out to her. I think she shot in the 80s, which is real good.
That is real good.
And then another shout out, athlete of the week, Chloe Fisher, man. She improved her score by 28 strokes. Shot a 108 the other day.
That's absolutely fantastic. That's a lot. That's
they've been on a tear recently.
That's what I've heard, but I'm not too up to date on my girls golf. It's not very talked about around here, so I'm not gonna talk about I know.
But we're gonna talk about it. They do something big. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, if we hear they do something big, we're gonna do so. From what I've been told that Jocelyn Ramirez is going to regionals, but that's just from someone I've been told about. I don't know if it's true, don't know if it's false. I'm just gonna mention it because if it's true, that's an absolute buzz. That's so good
Yeah,
for the
that's huge.
school.
That's
That's
huge for the
huge.
school.
Absolutely. Good job, Jocelyn Ramirez. I heard she's very good at golf.
Good
And
job, Jocelyn.
that's what I like to hear from
All
you.
right.
We're going to
So
talk about some
next up,
preseason
we
here.
got a little preseason segment here. We're gonna start off with preseason basketball. You know,
Boys and girls, we don't exclude
boys and girls.
these.
Yeah, no discrimination here. You know, big change in the boys basketball program though, as Eric Steffen is no longer the coach. You know, my own dad, no longer the coach here, man. After 5 years with the program.
5 years. I mean, we love Coach
It's huge.
Steffen, and
Yeah.
he was doing some things with the program, but you know,
He just had to step away for the game. He lost love for it, man.
He lost
had
love.
to step away.
and
But
you know, we'll see him around school. He's still a teacher over at the Clawson Middle School. What is he?
yeah, a little parapro, I think.
He's a parapro.
At the middle school.
He's
you know.
at the middle school. He's a parapro over there, and I
Right.
see him every day. You know,
Yeah.
little great guy, great
Yeah,
mood all
you
the
know,
time.
He also was coaching middle school baseball for a little bit. He was me and your coaches.
He was my coach over there in middle school, but he
he
also had to
stepped
step
away.
away from that one.
Yep, and then he stepped away from the basketball team not shortly after. But
Yep.
I'm excited for what is to come with these guys, man. Because
I mean, you guys, because you're on that basketball team, and you guys did not do so good last year. And it happens.
Last year was a rough year. You know, we were on our first game. Let me give you the rundown here.
Let me hear it.
Our first game, the boys win 53-21. We go to Annapolis. If you don't know where that is, it's out near probably north of the airport, maybe a little west. It's a 40-minute drive. We're anxious, man. We lost to them my freshman year. We
Yeah.
go in there and we beat them 53-21.
That's a big win. That's just a big to go on the road. You know, big long bus ride to just go in there and just play your best and play good and absolutely beat them.
The next game we go and play. We're at home. We play East Point, the Shamrocks. You know, East Point. They had a transfer student from Grosse Pointe South. We were not. Our heads weren't right going into the game. We lose.
And, you know,
we
it's
dropped
bound
that
to
one by
happen, you know.
21.
It's a little off year, I think, that we could say for the boys basketball.
Right, and then going down the line, I mean,
Obviously,
we didn't
not
get another. Our first win, by the way, was November 28th. Our next win, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't until February 7th. Man,
That's a
and
lot.
here's
That's a long streak. But
here's the thing.
you know, it was you guys were a talented team last year.
I'll tell you.
But
That
just, you know,
game, Centerline had to win to get the 1 seed in the MAC tournament, the MAC basketball league tournament. We beat them 43-38. We beat them 43-38, and they get the 2 seed. Clintondale gets the 1 seed.
wow.
Then
So
we
you just
go
absolutely knock them down a peg there.
We go on a 3-game win streak after that. We beat Madison, first game of the league tournament. We beat Marine City, second game. We're thinking we're making a run right now. It was a misread, and we beat them. We beat them.
You guys beat them?
We beat them.
Okay.
Trust me, I know.
That's true.
Then we have it was a really gritty game, rough game against Warren Mott. I mean, that put an end to our league tournament run. Then we lose a regular season matchup against Cranbrook Kings.
I mean, that's just a solid school to going up
Right.
against.
I mean, that district run, though, truly was, I mean, you don't even have to be there, and I'm sure you heard the buzz in the community. It was
I mean,
remarkable.
that was unreal. I can't believe you guys.
We played 2 rival schools, first round districts. We beat Bishop Foley off a Hayden Stevens buzzer beater.
That was a beautiful shot by Hayden Stevens. I
then
mean, graduated last year, but that's a way to go out, kid.
Second game of the tournament, we beat a really good Shrine team by 1. And, I mean, and I try to stay humble, but, like, I got the game-winning stop that game.
That's I love to hear that for you. Man.
Then we go and play a old Redford Academy team who had 3 guys with Division I offers on their team. And they ended up getting state runner-up. We ended up losing that game by 27.
I mean, to play as someone that's a powerhouse, you know, to play against, and to only, I mean, like, yeah, 27's a lot, but like to think that you guys still put up a lot of good points on that team is like, it's still kind of a win there, but
Absolutely. You know, and going into this year, we got a new coaching staff, right?
I haven't heard anything about the new coaching staff. I heard
Coach Savoy, our varsity coach, and then Coach Kathy, our new JV coach.
new JV coach too.
You know, we're really I like what they're doing so far. We've had a few open gyms. Didn't really do much over the summer.
No.
Nope.
Well, but they were still getting, like, you know, hired and, like, you know, all that stuff. They're
Yeah.
still finding the coaches.
We have a completely different schedule this upcoming year.
Is it, would you say, harder or easier?
I would say it's a lot harder. I mean, we're gonna play teams like Cabrini and Allen Park, Birmingham, Roper.
But, you want it to be
Lakeview.
harder for those games, farther down the line. You want to get better over there.
Absolutely.
Over the course of that year. And, when you get into that district games, you're going to be able to, look back on these games and see what you did wrong, see
Right.
what that good team did right.
And obviously the full schedule hasn't been released. Games will still be added.
Yeah,
Games probably
obviously.
dropped. But like going into this league, I think New Haven being in our league now is a huge addition. New Haven's a pretty solid team.
They get moved up or down?
Down.
Down, really?
Yep.
So that's definitely gonna be a school to beat there if you think about it, because they're getting moved down. They're gonna have a lot of confidence.
Yep.
So like we got moved down, they're gonna think that they're gonna run the league, but
Centerline gets moved up. Marine City's moved up.
so a lot of league changes there for the basketball.
Yeah, this was a realignment year and I'm sure other league games will be added. I mean, February 11th, a pretty big game against a pretty big school in Ferndale. Haven't played. I don't think Clawson's really ever played that team.
Ferndale, no.
Past
Hey, but we're
10
merged
years.
with them in Clawson and hockey. So
Right. Speaking of hockey, let's get into some preseason hockey.
some
Noodle.
preseason hockey. I mean, there's not a lot out there. Putting in our work, and we're Division 1 over there for the hockey school, and we're gonna play some tough opponents. Our league, we got Clarkston, we got a bunch of other schools in there, and we're projected right now for that projected for little two seed for our league, which isn't bad.
Who else is in the league other than Clarkston?
I can't really give you that information. I'm still new to the team, but
Okay.
it's a good league, very
Give
good
me a
league.
schedule rundown here.
Schedule rundown. We don't have our schedule out yet.
Really? Have you guys played any fall matches?
We played a couple fall matches here.
Who did you play?
So our first game of the year, we came out, played Chippewa Valley United. That's Chippewa and Dakota United
That's
there.
two huge schools.
Two huge schools. We came out and beat them 7-1.
That's huge.
And then we come to our next game and we play. I think it was. I couldn't give you that information actually. So with the next game after that, we play Stony Creek. We're missing a couple guys. It's fall league. You're missing people,
Right.
but we end up beating Stony Creek over there in a shootout.
Wow.
Actually scoring that shootout is gonna hype myself up there, but great games, and we ended up losing to Marysville but we showed some resilience at that in that game, and almost came back and beat them. We were down 5-1, and came back and lost 5-4 there.
So it sounds like you guys are going to have a pretty good.
We could have a pretty good year,
team this year,
Yeah.
Huh?
So yeah, but
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're the only guy from Clawson who's playing.
only
this
guy
team.
from Clawson. There's a lot of guys from Berkeley,
Wow.
and good amount of guys from Royal Oak, and then one guy from Ferndale, our goalie Todd Butler.
Todd Butler.
Good
All right.
guy right there. But what we missed is we kind of jumped to hockey, but what about girls basketball?
Girls basketball. Oh, yes.
I mean,
Girls
rough
basketball.
season last year, but what happens? There's a down year for our basketball school, but I feel like they're moving down a league, I think.
Yeah, I've heard. I heard we're going down a league.
I heard we're going down a league, and I heard that's going to be.
You look at girls basketball, and in the last year, let's look at their record last year. 4-20 record last year. They're kind of similar season to us. Truly, they start off the season with a huge league win against Madison. Then they go on a huge dry spell later on.
Yeah.
They don't get their next win until February the 5th against Ferndale U. They beat that team 49-4.
That's a big
huge win.
That's a win.
And they did you ever attend any of those district matchups last year?
No, I never could. I was busy at hockey there.
They didn't win a game until then. Nope, they beat Ferndale U, and then they beat Cardinal Mooney. And then first round of districts, they play Pontiac Arts and Technologies.
Mm-hmm.
They come out on top 37-29.
That's a win.
Huge game.
That's for the districts, you said?
Yeah, first round of districts.
I mean, just like not talking down on them or anything, but coming off like a rough season, you got to learn from your mistakes, and they came through, and time matters, districts.
Yep.
And they came through and beat that one team. I mean, they lost round 2, obviously, but I'm pretty sure it was a good game, that round 2 game. But
Luther Northwest and Bishop Foley were on the other side of the bracket. Luther Northwest ended up beating Foley, so we met them for the district championship.
Yep.
That was a hard fought game.
Was
I mean,
it?
we had seniors last year: Evie Lyford, Lexi Bailey.
They wanted to win that one for the
wanted
last year.
They wanted to come out on top in that one. Sure, I mean,
I'm only
who
gonna
won it?
assume. Obviously, I haven't asked them,
Right.
but it's a hard thing to last year losing the district finals, not go on a run, but
Yeah,
it's all about they had a bounce back. They made it to the finals, almost won.
Yeah, lost 42-23 that game, but
Did it
the score doesn't
reflect
show
the
doesn't
game.
reflect how they played that game because surely Luther Northwest just had the size advantage. Their girls, you could tell, just had been playing with each other for a long time.
A lot of chemistry over there.
Yeah, but the way we stayed in it, we didn't quit. I mean, we were down 20 at one point, but we didn't quit. We kept going, kept pushing.
I mean,
And,
that's what we like to
I mean,
hear.
Truly, North and Northwest just had some garbage time buckets that really put the score. Like we lost by 19, but
really, was it like?
I think it was like a 10-point.
And then
11-point loss.
it's little buckets after that, but I think that's gonna wrap up our first episode of our was it Claw Cast?
Clawcast.
Woo, I forgot it. I'll remember it in a bit, but
Yeah.
that's gonna wrap it up the first episode here.
Thank you for listening, guys.
And yeah,
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.